Princeton and
We're just jumping right into it.
Jump. Carmel Cup.
let's go.
Welcome back, ladies
We're
and
setting
gentlemen.
we're setting the tone for this Lacrosse Debate podcast. I'm a little unhinged, and we have one of the greatest Polish players of all time. So this is gonna be a good one.
We got. I think we haven't been on here in a while, so we got to talk shop and get a State of the Union. But we're joined by Matt Johnson, who's born and raised in Eugene, Oregon. Is that correct? And
Ducks. Yeah.
he spent a little time at Gordon College, which is in my neck of the woods, and then went back home to Oregon. Played for the Denver Outlaws. Me and Matt played together in 2018 in Netanya for the Polish national team, and Matt also played in 2023 in San Diego, and he's still going, still playing, and coaching down in Texas.
Let's go. 36, man.
Yeah,
Just gotta keep the body moving, man.
me too. I barely got through San Diego, so I had to start coaching after, but Matt just kept tearing it up.
Yeah. It's worth it, man. It's what an experience playing the World Games. So every 4 years, that's when I really just gotta train a little bit. Right before the tournament, I'll run for a couple weeks and get right back into it.
Well, you were crazy, and I mean, we'll jump around, but I remember in 2018 when we were in Israel, we'd be like fresh off a game. We were staying at this I don't even know how you would describe that complex we were staying at, but I remember it was like we played like 2 or 3 games, and the first couple days we were there, it was like 95-degree heat, and we were back after a game, and I was just like going for a walk or something, drinking water, like my body was falling apart, and you were doing like pull-ups off of like some like random thing. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, just getting a couple pull-ups, getting a workout in. I'm like, dude, I can't even walk. But that was back. Were you or I don't know, I think we should rewind and get like the Matt Johnson story, how he jumped into lacrosse and all that. But
Yeah, definitely.
Sky, do you want to hit it first with the Carmel Cup, because I think you were hyping it up last podcast.
I mean, I'm like, was I hyping it up? I don't even, I feel like I'm having difficulty even like seeing straight right now, but it was just 2 days of, youth lacrosse tournament, which is great. Yesterday we did a 14U bracket. So the 7th and 8th graders got to play for the cup, which this cup, I went into this trophy shop that's like right below my office.
Wait, bring that thing back. That thing.
Yes, I gotta like.
That thing looks sick.
So this is the Carmel Cup, and we've had the Carmel Cup. This is the 4th annual Carmel Cup, but we've never had an actual cup. So I went into this trophy shop and I was like, I need you to give me like the biggest cup that you have. And so I'm looking through this catalog, and the guy was like, basically I found the one that had the biggest dimensions, and he was like, I'll order it for you, but like if you don't like it, I'll just like keep it as a display item or something like that. I came in and I was just like, yeah, this thing's perfect. So this is the first year that we like did like a bracket. So the 14U kids got to like hoist the cup and take pictures with it and everything. And then today we did kindergarten through 6th grade, and they just play like 3 games. Between the 2 days, though, it was like there was like 1,000 people on campus, so it's just like,
Dang.
it's crazy.
That's wild.
But it's great, it's good vibes. And
So did the winner of each age group got the cup, and then you're gonna put the name on it, right?
Then
Nice.
it's called I don't know how familiar you are with the trophy world, but it's called a perpetual.
I ordered one. So Okay. So Pete Sessa, who's a good friend of mine that I grew up playing
Yeah.
lacrosse with, that we went to high
Uh-huh.
school together. We have a showdown this upcoming Saturday. He's the coach at Dexter Southfield, and I'm the coach at York High School in Maine. And it's the first annual Bass Bowl is what we're calling it. So we used to
Wow.
play for a summer team called the Bass Masters, and we were pretty good. We won Lake Placid, we won Glastonbury, we won the Cape Cod tournament, and a lot of this was back when we were in college, and I played a bunch of the guys ended up playing pro lacrosse. So after we got through college, it kind of went away. But we've got four of us in the area that are all coaching high school teams. So I think next year the bass ball is going to be a 4-team tournament.
Mm.
So it's actually supposed to arrive tomorrow. I ordered like a it's like a I think it's supposed to be for a fishing tournament. It's a bowl
Perfect.
with a bass on the top. It was like $100. So I
Yeah.
wish it was here right now, but I hope it's as cool as that. That thing looks how much was that thing? That thing's like a
It was kind of
what's it
expensive.
what's it made out of?
It's like I mean it's nice. I mean
Yeah, that thing's that's
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a nice base too. It's like $300.
And you get to drink out of it whenever you want. All the
Yeah,
time.
well that's pretty much why I bought it. Yeah, yeah. Now this is my cup when I sit on the couch and watch The Last of Us every Sunday.
Yeah, right.
Um, but yeah, so I think it's creating that competition. I think, and we can circle back to this too. We should dive into the Matt Johnson story, but the last thing is kind of like the thing that I've been playing around with, especially with the youth stuff. It's like, okay, at what point does it make sense that we're playing and we're learning the game, and then when are we like, okay, competition, tournament and stuff? Because I think sometimes people get caught up in the tournament aspect of things, and I think that's an important part of all of the youth sports stuff. But I think a lot of times too, people put the cart before the horse. So just trying to get that was kind of what we were doing this weekend. So the cup was hoisted.
Were they
Yeah.
fired up like playing for the cup?
Yeah, I think they were even more fired up when they got to like hoist it at the end. It's like, and you present it, and it's like it's kind of a thing. And like for social media, right? These days, like social media, like a picture of this, like is like they're doing all kinds of poses with it and stuff. It's great, and so. But yeah, Carmel Cup went well. But yeah, let's get into the Matt Johnson origin story. Let's kick that off.
Let's
All right.
go.
We gotta hear how we picked up a stick over in Oregon, because not a traditional hotbed
Right.
lacrosse wise. I think Peter Baum's from Oregon, right? He's kind of the guy that
Yeah,
jumps.
yeah.
Yeah, he jumps.
Portland, Oregon. That's where all the studs come from. Is Portland? It's the bigger city. They have all the club summer leagues and everything. I'm from Eugene, and we would compete against the Portland schools. Never really. We got to the semis one year, but we could never win the ship. Just those teams were so good. Again, it's like Peter Baum, Conbro Chill. He was my age, so I played against him. But yeah, starting, from where I started, I was a big baseball player my whole life, basketball, football. I never even played lacrosse till I was a junior in high school. So played
Shit.
shortstop, and I threw my arm out and got tendonitis from baseball my sophomore year. And then I had a class with all these lacrosse bros, and they're like, dude, lacrosse is so much harder than baseball. It's like, no way, dude, baseball is way harder than lacrosse. Like, I'm sure, dude, lacrosse is easy. They're like, no way. So we kind of just had a little bet. And so I just kind of, like, during that class, I would just mess around with their stick, and I'd just be hitting the wall. Like, man, this is kind of fun. And, like, I couldn't throw a baseball anymore, so, that summer going to my junior year, I joined, like, a little summer team, and first game got a goal. Like, the ball was, like, rolling on the ground. I just, like, hockeyed it in there.
Yeah.
And I got that feeling of, like, scoring a goal. I was like, man, this is such a fun sport. So, I just started hitting the wall. I got a really crappy stick from wall, GI Joes, what we called it. It's kind of like a Dix, and just hit the wall like 3 times a day. It was just so much fun. So yeah, I really picked it up quick, and then high school tryouts, I did pretty good, and I ended up starting my freshman year at attack. So, so I just fell in love with the sport really quick. And
Wait, hold on. You started started freshman year at Gordon, you mean? Because you picked it up junior year of high school?
yeah, junior year of high school. So
That's wild because that's pretty late. I mean, you look like
That's
you've
super
been
late.
playing lacrosse forever. Like like the way, it seems like I would have guessed you'd be a guy that picked it up when you were kind of,
Yeah, this
young.
is this is interesting too. So, what with the bet with your baseball friends? I guess what is lacrosse harder or is baseball harder? What's the
funniest thing, I still, I'm friends with these kids today, and like the actual bet was like, to go pro, and I'm like, dude, going pro in baseball is way harder. It kind of started. I was like, I could probably.
It
go
kind of
pro.
proved them. Yeah, you were right. It sounds like.
Yeah, rather than baseball, just the, batting 300% a D, or an F, and that's considered great. So there's a lot more failure, I'd say, in baseball, and yeah, it just wasn't as fun for me. But so yeah, I just you know started playing a lot, hitting the wall every day, and then got some good awards my senior year, and won. My parents were like, "Hey, if you want to go play college lacrosse, I will pay half of your schooling to some of these." They named a couple of schools, and one of those schools was Gordon College. So I just reached out to the coach, and he saw some tape and invited me out there. So
Who was the coach back then? Was that
that was Paul. Paul. Man, this was 2007. I forget his last name.
because for a while it was that guy that did I'm blanking on his name, but he started lacrosse like in Jamaica and a few other places, and he was a really good coach. And then like when you were there, you guys had a good team. You had a few Canadian guys that ripped it up,
Yeah.
Kirks, and like you guys made the NCAA tournament a few. I remember Gordon,
Yeah.
because we're us three are all about the same age. Had like a 5 year stint there where they had like a really good team and one of the first kind of D3 teams in the area that got Canadian kids.
Yeah, exactly. Our coach recruited big out of Canada. I got Jordan McIntosh. He plays for the Swarm, so he was like the first kid I met when I went there, just shooting around with him, and like, dude, this kid's for real. Like, I'd go in his room and he had like 4 perfectly strung sticks, all exactly the same. He was just he did not mess around with the sport. Yeah, and Andrew Kirkaldy, and yeah, it was a lot of highly IQ'd players, I would say. A little bit different from the MCLA or West Coast, as you guys would probably know. We're like big on being athletes, so I'd say kids are probably faster, maybe, but the IQs wasn't there for the West Coast kids. So going over there, just learning so much from these kids, and off ball movement, and I just pretty much learned everything about lacrosse, how to play with a team. Was definitely from the East Coast. So
What was it like playing with Jordan McIntosh? What did he play like?
he was just a crease junkie. Like, everything was, him dodging from X mostly. A lot of finishes. He would do that toe drag, put in his left hand, never bring it. Actually put it in his left. Everything was right-handed. But yeah, I mean, he was such an accurate shooter and passer. He got the starting job. I was like fourth attackman, but yeah, it was awesome to play with him. And Andrew Kirkaldy, I don't know if you know him, but that dude was, yeah, he was funny to watch. Like, he had no shame in wearing a ton of pads. Like, so he'd wear normal pads, then he'd put another layer of elbow guards. So he like double elbow guards, and he would just back dudes down. And take a beat in every game. But yeah,
It's kind of brilliant when you think about it. It's like just armor up and just kamikaze, just go for it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he
think
wore the rib guards, bicep, and he wore another one over like his elbow, and then wrist guards, like so nothing really affected him.
yeah, John Grant I think was kind of like that. He played till he was like 43, like professional, but I'm pretty sure his whole like right arm was just
Oh yeah,
like hard plastic, so he could do, whatever he wanted, basically.
yeah.
It's Canadians.
Yeah, Canadians, they're nasty. What brought you back to Oregon? Because you ended up playing for the Ducks.
Yeah, so I mean, D3 colleges, they're a little smaller, and this was like a smaller Christian school, so there wasn't a lot of you can't drink, you had a curfew and all that stuff. I was a little bit wild as a college kid, so I just went back my sophomore year, and I just went out to a party and came back. In the back of a truck, like with some other kids, and the campus PA or campus police saw me back there with a couple other kids, and you're not allowed to, be drunk or anything. So I got suspended from Gordon, and so I just went, took a semester off, and then I'm like, well, I'm in Boston. There's not a lot of options for me just to like, go hang out here, so I went back to Oregon for that reason. So yeah, it was quite the adventure. So
Yeah, that would have been tough to go to
yeah,
a school like that.
yeah,
I mean, me and Sky, I don't think we would have made it at Gordon. Just
What I think at that age, it's tough to give people that many rules. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think that's just that's what's tough. It's like you're not really setting 18 to 22-year-olds up for success. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like
I mean, the whole lacrosse team was like that. Like, every we got in a lot of trouble, so like we kind of want to make an example out of a lacrosse player.
yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll be that dude. So,
So
it was tough to go there. Just a small school, kind of felt like high school all over again because there's 2,000 people there. So, yeah,
Well, I remember the year before I got to Wheaton, they played Gordon, and I guess we had this senior Chris Hayde who was like, he was a great player, but he was like the ultimate pessimist and was just like, he was just whenever you saw him, he was like super like grumpy, or like he always was just kind of like angry, but also was like a very sweet dude. But I guess Wheaton lost to Gordon by one or something like that the year before they got there, and right, the Gordon tradition is like after the game everybody prays together,
yeah,
and Chris Hayde was like, I'm not praying with these guys. Like, he was so
Yeah.
pissed that they lost, and he was just like, everybody would just like describe like him like refusing to pray with the Gordon team, and like cracking up about how funny it was because he was just so
Yeah.
pissed off.
That's the first dude. Like everyone's like, all right, sure, like pray for us. Yeah, it's so funny. He just did not want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
it's-
post game, right? The prayer is post game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that- yeah.
Shake hands. He's like, hey, our captain goes up to their captain. He's like, you guys mind getting a prayer with us? And yeah, it's kind of cool. It brings everyone together, and
Yeah.
it's a cool experience for sure. So
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's just funny. The circumstances, I thought it was funny. So
yeah,
it's like a reverse haka.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
We can go into that.
yeah. We gotta talk. The Hawk is insane.
That was wild. Oh my
So what was playing for the Ducks? What was that like? Was it kind of like, was that where you, sort of were like you were the guy on offense there? I'm kind of guessing, or did you have a few good guys you were playing with, or that like big time or like big school club on the West Coast is kind of seems like it's sort of wild. Like you're not quite sure what you're gonna be up against every week or whoever you're. Some of those teams are got some really legit athletes, like you said. And I mean, I've seen some of those games. It's like you take the top schools. It's good lacrosse.
Right. I mean, lacrosse is the breed of lacrosse player. Like we're all pretty similar. Like you can all get along. A lot of them just like want to go have fun. So you'll get a lot of D1, D3 guys that just kind of get burned out, and they end up going to Chapman or a lot of these California schools, just because they want to kind of have more of that football fun, party experience. So you get we got 3 D3 transfers when I went there. So there was a lot of good athletes. I didn't have to do everything. At least my freshman year, by my senior year, I did be the facilitator a lot more. But yeah, it was a great time. Comparing it to D3, I would say, just like I said, Oregon was faster. The athletes were a little bit quicker. I was considered like fast at court, and I'm like, man, I'm slow, like compared to the West Coast. So a lot of speed, just the off-ball movement, the IQ just wasn't there as much. So, but yeah, it was a great time. I'm happy that transition happened. Just going back home, always being a Duck fan, growing up going to games and going to basketball, football games. Like I was always wanting to go to that school, but you do want to venture a little bit in college, go try something out. So I'm happy I went out there to the East Coast and like saw how intense lacrosse can get. Traveling all up and down the East Coast. So Oregon was just a great time, great experience.
What was it like? What was your interaction like with the other sports teams, like the basketball team and the football team? Like, do they like even know you exist, or are they like, oh, lacrosse, cool? Like, what's that like?
Oh man, we had the reputation for like being the party guys, so we had like the whole football team would always come over. Basketball players. Really interesting experience because maybe 1 out of 20 of them would be drinking. Like usually they're just smoking. Alcohol really does mess up your muscles and stuff. So they would show up all the time, just trying to talk to girls and stuff. Kind of got weird a couple times, made some girls uncomfortable. So we had to kick them out. We actually had a full-on brawl with the football team outside. It was crazy.
Oh wow!
But
and so what was like? What was the final result? Was it a W for the look of?
It was a W for us, but it ended with one of our players like throwing a punch and trying to hit them, and he punched our own player in the face.
Nice.
Like really bad, and so
okay.
Was like, oh shit. But yeah, we just had to make rules after that. Like some of those guys got a little too wild, so football players. But we had a good connection. We hung around with the D1 team, so a lot of the girl D1 lacrosse players kind of came over, and we took them on dates and all that stuff.
So they had a Division I women's team.
Yeah.
And still do.
They still do, yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Up, man, they have like the nicest lacrosse field. If you look it up, Pape Field, it's like just a beautiful lacrosse only women's field. So I would sneak on there all the time. Like it's always locked, but I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go use this still. It was just an awesome facility, and if as you know, like all the D1 athletes, they just get hooked up with all the resources, and we definitely didn't get that as club players. Like we got a couple Nike things, but yeah.
Right, you guys are footing the bill essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
We did get lucky. We had a mom who donated a lot of money, so I had the opportunity to play for free, just because money was, I did college all on my own and everything, working through college and paying, but so we had a lot of good donors and stuff that helped our program out. So
cool.
How about the Outlaws? So was that right after graduation, or like what did you have to do? Did you have to go to a tryout, or what was the how did that work out?
Yeah, this is an interesting story too. I mean, it was 2013. I graduated. Um, you know, Jordan McIntosh was my same age, and he went pro, and I was like, well, man, I kind of hung with him a little bit. Maybe I can give it a shot, but I didn't really know how I was going to do that. Like, I didn't, a lot of times you have to be invited to go, unless you get drafted. Being an MCLA guy, I didn't have any of those opportunities, and then I found out there was an open tryout in Denver, so I kind of facilitated that and went to Denver. It was about probably 100 guys trying out, and like 2 spots were open. Um, so I, planned ahead and just trained pretty hard for that. I'd say the reason I got on there was running was like the main thing. So I would run up this hill almost every day, like a mile up or something, and that really gave me the edge. I guess I got a little faster, and the whole tryout, I just wasn't winded, so definitely like stamina was a big one, and I would do like the whole Paul Rabel, like running through the woods with a stick, and I'd play
Nice.
catch with my brother. We like kind of lived by the woods, and we would just play catch, just running through the woods, and then just go on these long runs and do pull ups, and got in shape for that, and then I had to. So in 2015, I flew over there and tried out and did really well. And they're like, well, if you want to make this team, you have to move here. You have to move to Denver because we're not gonna, MLL. They're not gonna pay me to go fly back and forth to practice multiple times. So they're like, yeah, next year if you come back here, we'll give you a shot. So just kind of stuck to training, and then just drove out there to the next tryout. Got to try out again. Literally just slept, like got there the night before, slept in my car, like at the Broncos training facility, like no plan, just went for it.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then worked out and had a great tryout, and me and this other kid, DJ Loves, his defender, got on the practice squad from that. So, it was, I went through a little bit more than most guys. A lot of guys either live there or, like a lot of guys didn't change their whole life for it. Like driving over there. Like if it didn't work out, I would have gotten screwed. So, I always tell this to my guys. I'm like, you just gotta. Sometimes you can't have a plan B with things.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just completely focus on plan A. And if plan A doesn't work, then there's no other option. So like doing that, having that as like a motivator, I guess I'm like, I have to make this team. If I don't, I literally am stuck out here. So got like left my lease, left everything. I'm like fully set on making this team. So if I didn't make it, I would have just been in deep trouble. So that was a big motivator that helped me play harder. And so
How old were you when you drove out and were sleeping in your car at the practice facility? How old were you at that point?
I was 27.
Nice. Wow. Cool.
27. So
What was happening between when you graduated from that's a pretty significant gap between when you graduated from Oregon. Were you playing lacrosse throughout that whole time, or like?
Yeah, so I was 25 when I graduated.
Got it. Okay.
Before, yeah.
Got it.
I transferred school. I went to community college for a year and played.
Mm-hmm.
So took a little bit of time off and just worked. So like playing for Oregon was, there was like a 2-year gap where I didn't play. I thought it was over after I got suspended, and then Oregon gave me that shot, and then I really use that as a motivator. Like, hey, somebody's paying for me to play, so I'm going to just try extra hard, and did pretty well with that. Got 2-year All-American, 2-time All-American there, and then, yeah. What was the question? I kind of lost what I was talking
Well, it's just like I was asking how old you were, and then I guess
Oh,
just
okay.
we're just kind of like the timeline, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like 27. I mean, that's that's a great age too, because right, you still have that youth and that athleticism, but then you also kind of got that wisdom, which is, you know, as we all know, that's the X factor when you get back on the field. You know, it's like
Yeah.
working smarter, not harder. It's like I feel like that. You know, right there, that's the peanut butter and chocolate. It's like, you know, let's go.
Yeah.
Um,
I
it,
definitely felt like I progressed as after college. You know, like
mhm.
still playing in men's leagues. Um, you know, touching a stick still every day. So, um, yeah, had a lot of motivation. Like I didn't say this before, but like one of my best friends passed away like
Mm.
2014, and his dad's like, "What is something I can do to help you achieve your dream?" And I'm like, I was a pretty broke kid, like right out of college too. I'm like, well, I want to try to play for the Outlaws, so he kind of funded my whole trip too. Got the plane tickets, got the all that. So that was another motivating factor, was to like play for him, and that's something I like really believe is you can't just play for yourself. You know,
Mm.
that's never going to be enough. And a lot of people are like, oh, I just do it for the haters or something, or their motivation. Like I said, but using like something, like Christian was on here. Like if you look at Christian's helmet, he's got 10 different names of his family members that he's playing for. You know, just having some sort of motivation outside of yourself. I've noticed, me personally, that helped me a lot. And just looking at a lot of these pro teams, college teams, there's that cancer kid on the team, or just some sort of, like on the Outlaws, we had a kid with cancer, and just an extra motivation to, make you play for something outside yourself. So,
No doubt.
yeah.
I guess they say, what's the like Native Americans? They play to please the creator, right? That's like the whole thing.
Yeah. Honor the creator. When you
Yeah.
run, you massage Mother Earth with your feet.
Who was on that Outlaws team? Like who were some of the guys you got to play with? What was it like playing with them? Because that the Outlaws, I feel like they're all those MLL teams are legendary, but I
Yeah.
always like the Outlaws. I always think of the Outlaws and the Cannons.
Yeah. No, Outlaws. That was like my favorite team growing up, and it was pretty just a wild experience. Like watching John Grant Jr. like when I started, and then actually playing with him, I was like, holy crap, this is insane. So yeah, John Grant Jr., Eric Law, Matt Kavanaugh. We had the Bachlet brothers, Jeremy Sieverts. Um, yeah, it was. I mean, it was a crazy season because like Ryan LaPlante, he was our the Denver goalie that started the season with us, and we weren't doing so hot overall. And then we had the college draft happen, so then we got Kavanaugh. We also got, what's that goalie on Team USA? That's the
John
best
Galloway.
on he's on the Redwoods as well. I'm spacing his name.
He plays. Where did he play in college?
Brown. So he.
Oh yeah. The resident goalie coach. I should know this. But I know exactly. So you guys, is Billy? Are you bringing it up?
I'll get it real quick. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
You got it, Scott?
Know that he's on Team USA. I'm just completely spacing it. Well,
Jack Kelly.
Jack Kelly. Yeah.
He's a great. Wow. Yeah, he's one of the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Bachlet could shoot the lights out. I always loved watching him. He went to Virginia, right? He was like overhand like 99% of the time.
Right?
Chris Bachlet. So Matt was the defenseman, maybe his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt, Mike, and Chris. They were all three on there. Romar Dennis. That was his rookie year too. He came out. and then Kavanaugh took that lefty spot, and yeah, we just started winning. Ended up winning the national championship that year. It was pretty wild to start. We lost the majority of our games, and then once the draft happened, we literally won every single game and won the championship. So,
Who was your guys' head coach at the time?
oh gosh. Bill something.
Bill Charity?
No. He doesn't coach anywhere anymore. Based on his name. Man,
All right.
it's been a while. It's been almost
What year did you play?
2016.
2016.
B.J. O'Hara?
B.J. O'Hara. That was it.
Is that correct?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. Knew to start with a B. Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, we only practice once a week and just games, so it's kind of hard to get in that rhythm. Literally, you would have a practice Friday, and then you'd have a game, and then guys would fly out and fly in. So it's kind of hard to really get to know the guys unless they lived in Denver. So like a lot of the Denver guys, we'd practice on a Wednesday just with that Denver group, but like just Friday is the only practice you get in with your team. So.
Yeah, that's like I guess it's I'm not sure, but I think they're maybe practicing a little bit more now, but still it's only like maybe twice a week. So that's like almost the beauty of that league because you can't really have a ton of schemes and stuff, and it's a little bit more free. I feel like it's just guys kind of playing together.
Yeah, very.
And,
It was literally the coach didn't do much. The guys were so advanced that we would, I'd listen to them. They were literally calling the plays. Like Drew Snyder was one of our captains there as well. I mean, just playing together with these guys, watching like, how about we pass down, pick down, sweep hard, backside exchange, and BJ would just be like, okay, like the players were the one really scheming up things. So.
Well, it's so interesting you say that. I mean, it's like A, you didn't remember who the head coach was, and then B, it made me think of like the PLL games. Not to take anything away from the head coach at the time, like it is what it is. But these PLL games, you see like the huddles, and it's like you got 6 to 10 head coaches in the huddle.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I mean, if you are the coach, it's kind of like, yeah, that sounds good. Like it's like, what do I do? Insert myself and try and come up with a better idea at the time? Yeah, okay. Pass down, pick down, sweep hard. Sounds good. Team on 3. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go tell John Grant Jr. what to do. Like,
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic. But then also in the PLL, you have some head coaches that are definitely more like hold the reins. But it's just, as a viewer, it's interesting to see that dynamic at that level.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
guys are all so good, It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
and it was pretty cool. Like just watching them and going out there and actually playing with them, and John Grant Jr. I learned the most from him. I guess he was like out there just constantly coaching the guys, like mostly on how to BTB and everything. He's like, oh yeah, like perfecting the BTB. So I learned a lot about how to constantly throw behind the head. So I mean, it worked, and that dude scored most of his goals were probably around the world or behind the back or something. So
It's incredible.
yeah.
So how did the Polish thing come about? Obviously your mom, but like what was it that like nudged you in the direction to reach out or get in with the Polish lacrosse?
The funny coincidence, like at the tryouts for Denver, there was a guy with a Polish lacrosse helmet on. I was like, oh, Polska, that's awesome. And he's like, oh yeah, there's a national lacrosse team that I played for. So I got his information, and sure enough, like next year, I just reached out to him, just kind of wondering a little bit more about it, and got Kyle's number, and just talked to him a little bit, and he's like, "Well, you have to go out to Poland." Back when I was playing, or it was 2018, 2017, I guess, when I went over there the first time, they had you had to go out there for 3 months. So I think you probably did that as well. I had to go live out there for 3 months and like travel to pretty much every city where there was a club team and coach like a middle school, and then practice with the local club team, and then off to the next city. So yeah, 3 months of just traveling around, and it was a lot, but it was a great experience. So yeah, so my mom is born and raised in Poland. Went through World War II. All of our family did. So like growing up, I just had a lot of respect for Polish people, and that kind of seemed like my way to go over there and experience all that. So
Check it out, because I'm actually just moving into a new house right now, and this was like the housewarming gift I got.
Hey, you got to get someone on those walls, Bill. Jeez Louise.
I'm like a couple days into it.
Oh, Polska, let's go.
Pretty sick, huh?
Tanya, like, yeah. Man, that tournament, that was wild, dude. Never anything I've done has been as crazy as that.
Let's talk about it.
Oh man.
Well, so just like what made it so wild? I mean, I guess like the PG-13 version, but
Yeah. I mean, for one, just where we're set up at, it's kind of tough because you see it's a really thriving town. It's like beautiful, all these huge hotels everywhere, and we're like, oh, which hotel we gonna which hotel we gonna stay at? And we just keep driving, and we like just come into this like youth camp, and the kids are just leaving this youth camp, and we drive in here like, what the heck is this? And they give us these beds that are probably 5 feet long, bunked in there, just because everything was full, and it helped with the budget too. And there was probably another 6 other teams that stayed there.
Yeah.
At this summer youth camp, and then every day is just 100 degrees, and it's just crazy hot trying to go out there and just play 10 games consecutive day after day.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
with practices, and yeah, it was wild.
It was fun though. It's so cool. Like just because that was the international lacrosse. It just hits you different a little bit. You go out there, like they play the anthem. You're singing the anthem. It's just like representing a country. I feel like that just hit a little bit different. And we like kind of like Matt said. I mean, we were in Poland for a while. And I want to say we had training camp there like almost like 3 weeks before we left for Netanya, right? Like our 2 weeks or something. Because I remember we had like a 5-7 day camp, which was pretty intense. Like I remember like Reba or Wissy or somebody like breaking their long pole like over my shoulder, and just like we were like going at it like
I mean, you had
pretty
injury.
hard.
You had injury just before even getting there, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I was just, I like, my body started falling apart when I was like 19, 20, but I just kept going. But I played in every game over there, but it was like, I remember having at least like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks after our training camp where I like went up to like the Baltic Sea to like those 3 cities like Gdansk, and met like Jan's brother, and he showed me around, and I like met some of the guys that played up there, and like just kind of like got to a couple of different cities, and like you said, like met some of the kids and did some practices. And then like the other thing was, I think me, you, and Christian were the only three guys from the States and maybe Luke. Um, so it was like, we were a little bit um, more like kind of had to, uh, I don't know. It was like kind of a different dynamic than I think the team wasn't in San Diego or even is now, just because there were more guys from Poland.
Yeah. There was a
But it
lot
was,
of options. San Diego.
yeah. Um, but man, it was cool. And then like we got out there, I think we played the first game of the tournament, or maybe the second one against Uganda at like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And then like Matt said, like played a game I think almost every day except for one.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Jerusalem. We had a day off, and that was pretty wild. Like going into Jerusalem, like that was just mind blowing. Still, that's like top five craziest places I've ever been. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I
so
thought it was really interesting. I mean, I've always wanted to go there, and it just so happened to work out. Like that was amazing. But like in that culture, they keep burned out tanks from like 20 years ago to remind you of like where you're at. So
Wow.
like just driving around, you just see a burned out tank. Like, yep, this is that stuff happens here. Don't forget it. So
Mm.
yeah, it was just pretty amazing place. But I did feel pretty safe there. Like driving, walking around and stuff. There was little kids everywhere biking around, and it was just a good community feeling there. Um, but yeah, the tournament itself was, the best part is just seeing 50 different cultures,
Yeah.
all just playing lacrosse. It was so cool to just get a quick glimpse of every different nation's kind of culture through their lacrosse players. So
Yeah, the international tournaments are crazy how just like jammed it is for whatever 10 to 12 days. It's like one. I mean, in San Diego, I remember it's like it's like just people go. It's almost like a little bit too much. You have like serious injuries on a lot of the teams. It's like late in the game. It's like we're playing Scotland, but like their best player blew his knee out. So like. And it's like, holy shit, it's the real. I mean, you have what we have 22 roster spots or something like that. I mean, you don't have a deep team, so it's like everybody's number's gonna get called. You got to make sure that everybody's pitching in.
yeah,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom to everybody.
Matt was like everybody he passed on like the street, just like Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, they're always so stoked that you're saying that. But
It's
yeah,
great. So
like,
selfishly, I want to get your take on some youth stuff, because that's kind of like the world that I'm living in right now. So one thing that I feel pretty strong, like at what age group do you think players should start playing full field lacrosse? So like at what age or grade?
yeah, probably like fourth grade.
Full field at fourth grade?
Yeah, fourth.
Wow.
Grade.
Okay, I'm curious at your thoughts as to why.
I don't know. It does. You got to learn it sometime, and like those kids are developing. Like at least when I'm coaching them, like the third graders are, like they're athletic enough to run the full field. I mean, they have goalies at that age, right? At third grade, they're bringing the goalies. So, yeah, I'm just third grade, fourth, probably fourth grade more.
I think a fourth grade Texas player is like a seventh grade California kid.
Well, yeah. Well, because I mean, this is kind of the debate that I've been having with a lot of other programs, is because I'm the opposite. I think that kids should be playing, I think kids should be playing World Sixes until basically like they hit puberty, and then when they're like, okay, they're developing and they're not like tiny, and their stick skills are good, then they play full field, and it's kind of like, and just kind of like how we were doing with the the tournament, right? Like 7th and 8th graders, it's like, okay, we're shifting to full field, and then we're also kind of shifting into a more competitive mindset versus,
Right.
you know, the short field stuff. We're all about repetitions, passing, catching, playing. You know, you play another sport, fine, whatever. Like, we're just trying to get more kids playing the game, and then once those skills are up, okay, then we hit the full field. Because I just feel like the full field when kids A, can't pass or catch, and B, can't run the field, it's horrible. But
True.
Right. Yeah, like full field with some skilled fourth graders looks good, I think. But
yeah,
I mean, they, you know, fourth grade, they go full field out here at these Texas tournaments.
they do.
And I mean, like the Texas Nationals, like these kids are freaking good. Like they don't drop passes. Like it's, you know, they have just all these elite PLO coaches come train them. I mean, it's pretty. Just watching them, I'm like, okay, they're making it happen, you know. But I've also coached, you know, the sixes tournaments, and the kids at that age seem to have way more fun because everyone's, you know, touching the ball, way more shots on cage. So yeah, I don't know, it's a good question, but yeah, definitely I'd say around, you know, fourth grade they can handle it. I don't know if it's as good for them. You know, I think developing your confidence and taking a bunch of shots is what you're going to get from sixes. You also, you don't get the team defense. There's just one dude a lot of times at that age can just run through 3 people and score. So.
Well, that's kind of what I noticed today too, where it's like, I mean, kids when they're playing the full, I feel like a lot of times full field, especially at the younger ages, it's like the most athletic kid gets the ball, like runs through, maybe passes it once, you know, like draws the guy and dumps it. And then kind of when you put them back into the sixes format, they just kind of do the same thing on a short field. So it's like, how do you get them getting the touches, you know, learning? Because it's like, in a perfect world, if you're playing sixes, working the, like, you know, picks and stuff like that, they're learning spacing. That's, like, I guess my vision for it. I guess what are your thoughts on the sixes format as a whole? Like, having played some box, you know, having played field at a high level, what are your thoughts on the sixes format?
Yeah, I've played and coached it. It's, I don't know, it's just not the same game to me. It's more like basketball. You know, you don't have the slides that you can shoot from, at least like right after you cross the midway or like the half freaking field line.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a little bit different. It's more like, I'd say more like box, just on a field, right? There's just a lot of 2-man games and a lot more opportunities. I feel kind of bad for the goalies because, you know, they're taking 100 shots. You know, they're taking so many more shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is more entertaining. It's a lot more entertaining and fun to play. It's just, you know, it's not a defensive game like the normal game of lacrosse is. So.
Right. Yeah, I think it's tough when you get to the high level for the men's game as well for sixes. I mean, especially for the goalies, right? It's like, this is insane. I think for the women's game, it's pretty awesome. In some ways, I feel like it's a better version of the women's game than the full field game. I definitely want to talk to more women's players about it, but you know, it's interesting for sure. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like, as a goalie too, I mean, it's not that different than playing for Wheaton College in my time, but I'm just playing. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you know, it's just, like right now, like when I'm coaching these college kids and everything, like clearing's such a hassle. You know, just watching Duke today, you know, how so many missed clears and everything, it takes that aspect out of the game, and you know, that's an equalizing part of the game. You know, I kind of, you know, having to go over rides and clears, and you know, that's part of the game, and you just don't really get any of that in sixes. So
yeah,
that's a good point. I never really thought of that. Like the ride clear game is so critical.
Well, but that's kind of the thing that I deal with, you know, running a youth program and running teams, right? it's it's complex to teach to teach full field lacrosse. It's complex. You have to know rides and clears. You have to have some sort of settled offense. You have to have man up, man down, and like in a place where we are, where we just don't have a lot of experienced coaches. It's hard to you can't teach all of those things, right? And so then you try and play the game, and you try and play the full field version, and there are some good things, but there's just so much that you need to teach that you really have to have a relatively like high level of coach and then when you think about it, like for us at least, 95% of the parents like didn't play lacrosse, and if they're that 5%, they're the coach, and they probably played, and if they are that 5%, then they probably played in high school, not college, and so it's like I don't know anybody in their high school who played high school lacrosse that remembers like the clear, so it's like that's the other thing is, okay, how can you teach the game well? Okay, I got plenty of parents that can teach basketball version of lacrosse, right? But I don't have that many who can teach the full field version. So
Yeah.
I guess that's something that I run into with like the full field versus short field stuff too.
Yeah, it's taken away a lot of those, specialist positions. Like when I was coaching last year, we'd get blown out by teams, and then we'd play sixes and we'd win. I'm like, because it's just equal possessions all the time. So the JV kids I was coaching loved it because, hey, we won a game, or hey, these are close games, compared to like we go full field, we're losing every single game. But so yeah, there are benefits to it, but lacrosse, like you kind of do have to. You take pride in your specialist, right? In your face-off and your goalie, and you just don't really get that in basketball. I feel like it's a good part of lacrosse. It's really nice when you have a good face-off guy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So.
What you got, Billy?
Let's see. Wrote a couple things down. What are your thoughts on how lacrosse is growing in Texas? I mean, it kind of seems like it's one of the places right now where it's really popping off, and there's some good players coming out of there. I know you're plugged in, you're coaching pretty much every level down there. So what's it like? What's it been like down in Texas these past few years?
Yeah, I thought being from Oregon, like I thought we were decent at football, like seeing Oregon, but out here, these kids, they go all summer, every day. Every single kid plays football. Every freaking kid. So, for one, that's different from Oregon. Not everyone played football. A lot of these lacrosse players would just play lacrosse. Out here, most of the lacrosse players play football and lacrosse, if not baseball too. So, they're all, three-sport athletes. And just getting through a football season is gritty. Like it's not a fun practice to be at. They're spending their summers in the weight room, working out, doing football all through the summer. When I was a high school kid, I'd go have fun this summer. They're out there working, so you're getting the football players on the lacrosse field. It's just a different kind of like they take sports a little bit more serious, especially in Dallas, Austin as well. So it's growing big time. I mean, you have all these tournaments are just filled with D1 prospects, and they ran the USA. Was it U16 came out here, held tryouts. Like they're pulling a lot of these kids from these private schools out here. So I mean, just being at summer league like I was today, like you have Duke helmets, Syracuse helmets. All sorts of, Ohio State. There's just tons of D1 guys that come out here. They're from here, so they're starting to get recruited. And like I was saying, being a football player, that does set you apart a little bit, and football and lacrosse. So
I remember. So this must have been 2014. In the summer, I was or maybe 15, but I was coaching at Roger Williams University, and it was like, I spent a couple of those summers just going to all these different recruiting tournaments and was driving around, and I was down somewhere like, I don't know, maybe Pennsylvania or New Jersey, and I was at like a 3-day tournament, and every college coach, they would put you in charge of like a team, and it was all regional. So you would coach these kids for the 3 days, and then when you just had a booklet, and when your games weren't going on, you were just recruiting. So you were kind of like in charge of the team, coaching them and recruiting. And I had a team they were all from Texas, and it was like my first kind of experience with it. And these kids were all like, yes sir, yes coach, like
I knew you were gonna say that.
yeah, and just like, like so bought in, asking me everything, and they were like all shredded, like athletes, just like look like these kids were all just in such good physical condition, and so dialed in, like taking a knee, looking you right in the eye, like I was like, holy shit, like this is like like so it just makes sense to me that kind of Texas lacrosse has taken off, because I could sort of feel it coming. That was 12 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, after every practice, every single kid walks up to you, looks you in the eye, shakes your hand, thank you coach. So you're like,
yeah,
no, that's not what you do, like in Oregon at least. Every practice, every kid comes up to you, thank you sir. So yeah, just a lot of respect for elders and coaches out here, and they're just a different kind of culture. So I mean, I've been loving it so far. People are like super nice and polite, and all about football, all about sports. Sports are life here. So way more than Oregon too. So I thought Oregon was something special, but yeah, they really take stuff serious out here. So.
Are you in the Dallas area?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
Got it. Okay.
So I started my own club team actually last summer called the Prowlers with one of these coaches. So we run 1st through 12 as well, and then I coach TCU. So yeah, I'm getting 1st grade through seniors in college, and just get to just evaluate the kind of players and people they are, and definitely a different breed for sure.
Have you been to the lacrosse barn?
Oh yeah, I'm on that. I actually played on the Denver Outlaws with Nick Tintle.
Oh, you did? Okay.
He runs that place. He actually plays on my men's league team right now, but
nice.
He he's from California. Started that Athlete's Choice or something, and sold it, and then he just built this mecca. It's definitely the lacrosse mecca of the world. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I've followed it on social media, and that's why I asked if you're in Dallas, because I'm like, this thing looks wild.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can do like 3 different box games in there if you want. It's that big. It's just like a legit full stadium or a full field with like a gym, a really nice gym, and like nutrients, trainer area. And he's in the process of building like a 2-story box facility indoor.
Whoa!
So that's what this area needs, is a box, because we had a great league, kind of fell apart. So and then the Panther City was here in Fort Worth, and they just dropped, but they're coming back to Dallas. So
They are?
yeah,
Nice.
You heard it here first.
yeah,
The Lacrosse the Bay podcast is breaking news.
yeah.
Is it? Do people know this?
A few.
We're breaking.
We are officially breaking this. We're putting this.
Really terrible name. Something like Oil Cats, something like that.
Yep. I mean, oil good, cats not so much.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna. I mean, it made sense. They tried going out to Fort Worth. Not a lot of these kids want to go drive. I mean, you'd get the Fort Worth kids, but if you're in Dallas, you'd pack that place out. So a lot of people don't want to make that hour drive for a game at 8 o'clock, and get
Right.
home at 12 with the kids. So
Let's be realistic.
I mean, you figure that the Dallas Stars big win last night, right? That's like I watched those Dallas Stars games, and they're crazy. So you definitely got the hockey fans,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, they seem to market it a little bit better, like dollar beer, dollar hot dog, that place would be packed out. So,
Yeah. Do like some Savannah banana shit.
Yeah. They just do it in like a really nice facility that they're losing. They lose thousands of dollars because they have like a full staff. There'd probably be like 100 people, 200 people in there. So yeah, so it makes sense. It makes sense why they left. But,
All right.
Sky, you got quick hits.
We got you read my mind. All right, it's time for our lightning round. I'm gonna do these right off the top. So, favorite pizza toppings?
pepperoni, pineapple.
Pepperoni, pineapple, and then do you? Second follow up question: do you have a preference in terms of like thin crust, Detroit style?
Probably just thin crust, man.
Okay,
Thin crust.
keep it simple. Favorite thing about the state of Oregon?
Probably like fresh water. I miss fresh water. Like out here in Texas, water's not as good. So yeah, like just going swimming in like perfectly clean water. That's the best part.
Favorite activity / hobby other than lacrosse?
Ooh, I'm a big paintball guy. Love to go paintball.
Yes, that's awesome.
I'll take the teams paintballing right before like a season. That's that team bonding. You wanna you see who the cowards are. Or you have some kids that are just fearless, like that guy's gonna be a good lacrosse player. Then you have some guys that just hide and they're scared. I'm like, okay.
It's like,
you still get pain. You gotta get after it. You're gonna get beat up a little bit, but
that's good. I'm gonna keep that in mind for the future.
Yep.
Midfielder attack.
Oh, attack all day. I'm not trying to run. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get the glory with the goals. So.
yeah, we knew the answer to that one, Bill. Come on.
All right.
Favorite lacrosse memory?
Ooh. Yeah, probably South Carolina. Beating. We beat Chapman in a 4 overtime win. South Carolina. So that was a wild game.
That was like the national tournament.
Yeah, national tournament. Yeah, first round. I lost to Chapman twice my junior year, and then we actually beat him both times my senior year. So big win, quadruple overtime. So.
All right. When you're in Poland, like what do you have to do or eat when you're over there?
I mean, everyone knows pierogi.
Right.
Side menu, you get some pickled soup.
Yeah.
Pickled soup, man. That's some good stuff.
I'm gonna have to get that this summer.
It's like shredded pickles. It's creamy. It's delicious.
I love it. And then I guess what's your favorite like any stick that you could put together? What would it be?
Oof. Best head ever was a clutch, man. I used the clutch, the brine clutch, and shaft. That's a tough one. I actually really like those Warrior Titanium. I'm going old school, but remember the Warrior Titanium?
Dude, I've been using it.
I've been coming across some of those recently.
My stick right now is a Titan Classic, and actually,
Let's go. Yeah. Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, it never dented. You could just treat that thing like.
The Titan Classic's in the car, but this is actually this guy Chris Massey gave me this. It's straight titanium silver fin. I think these are the titanium shafts are the best. You can't beat them.
They were heavy, but you could just cross-check the crap out of someone. Use them in box. Use them all over the place. So.
I love it. All right. Well, that's what we got. Thanks for hopping on in the Lacrosse to the Bay podcast, Matty. This has been great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Scott. You too, Billy. That was fun.
All right. Well, that's been Matt Johnson.
Wait. Last question on the quick hits. Who's going to win the national championship?
Oh, yes. Good. Predictions.
Oh, I'd probably say Cornell.
Oh.
Cornell's looking pretty solid, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just beat the crap out of Princeton. I thought Princeton was going to go, but I think it might be Cornell's year. So
I like it.
Billy, who you got?
You guys.
I said Q's preseason, so I'm just going to stick with him.
Why not? No, they deserve it.
I don't know. I'm just gonna. So we're just gonna I predicted that Albany would win the American East, and they did. So I'm going to double down. I'm going to say that they're going to get to the quarterfinals, but I don't think they're going to win it. Who do I think is going to win it? I'm going to go with Cornell and Cuse are taken. What other options do I have?
Princeton's been good.
Yeah.
Is Maryland going to be the 1 seed?
I feel like it's. I think I'm gonna go with Duke.
All right.
Ooh. Yeah, they've
I
been
like
having a good May.
They always do. You know, that it's a safe bet. But Albany to the quarterfinals. I'm calling it here.
All right, I'll remember.
Sure you will. All right. All right.
Well, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
What are you drinking?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I could chug beers on here.